Hi, I was wondering your thoughts on quitting gaming cold turkey and how to maintain that, and if you agree with it. Okay, so this is a great question. Um, so I think that the first thing is when people think about video game addiction, we pull a lot of stuff about how to deal with video game addiction from other addictions. So most of the common wisdom on addictions comes from this thing called substance use disorders. So this is like alcohol and heroin and like cocaine and things like that. And we think about those as addictions, and we think about the way to overcome an addiction. That playbook was written for substance use disorders. It was written for like alcoholism. And so now we have a whole new swath of like new addictions. Social media addiction, Netflix addiction, video game addiction, social media addiction, right? Like, and as we have these new addictions, we want to apply like the old pattern to the new pattern. And in my opinion, substance use disorders and behavioral addictions are fundamentally different with the way that they affect the brain. Doesn't mean that the solutions for substance use disorders can't help. It's just like a new disease. And so a new disease, in my opinion, requires a new solution. So I think that quitting cold turkey on games can be helpful. For some people, it works really well. I think it's a very good idea to go on a gaming cleanse, which is sort of stay away from games for a couple of weeks so that your dopamine circuitry can like recalibrate and normalize so that you can start to enjoy other things. But I don't think that that's the only way, which is something that I see a lot. Like, I know that there are a lot of like people out there in like treatment programs and stuff that believe that abstinence is the only way because that's how it works for like alcohol. But I don't think so. I mean, in my case, I definitely had a gaming addiction. I still play video games now, and I'm like not an addict. I think the number of people who have overcome game addictions and can healthily play video games far outweighs the number of people who are addicted to alcohol and can continue to drink in a healthy way. So I don't think you have to quit forever. And the last question I'll answer is like they ask, how do you maintain it? So I think this is kind of what I was telling Sky is that, you can't maintain it. All you can do is not play games on that day. So when I'm talking to my patients who have addictions, they say like, I have a goal to be sober for 1 year. It is impossible to be sober for 1 year. Impossible. You can achieve 1 year of sobriety, but you can't be sober for a year. And what happens is people wake up and they say like, this time I'm dedicated. I'm going to be sober for a year. They feel passionate. They feel committed. They make a commitment to themselves. I'm going to do it for 1 year. That's my commitment. I'm going to lose 20 pounds. I'm going to lose 50 pounds. I'm committed this time. This time's different. I've made up my mind. I didn't make up my mind before, but I made up my mind. This time I'm going to maintain it. I'm going to stick with it. This is what's going to happen. Not how it works. You can't maintain it. You can't be sober for a year. All you can do is be sober for a day. And if you do that for 365 days in a row, you will be sober for a year. But to understand that you can't maintain abstinence from video games. You can just not play them on that day. So practically, what I think works way better and what I do in my clinical practice, rather than attaining abstinence, because this is something you guys have to understand. Video games do something for us, okay? They do something very important for us. And you can't just take that away. So I was working with a kid who was autistic, gets bullied at school, and then his parents are like, yeah, he plays like way too many video games. We want to take it away. And then like they didn't realize that like the kids, like his only friends are on the internet. So you can't just like stop playing it. Like if you stop playing it, he's going to feel fucking alone and suicidal. So you have to think about, what is the game doing for me? Like, what do I get out of the game? And if you want to be free from video games, if you want to just play them and not be addicted to them, if you want to be able to play them, have fun, and not be addicted, you have to get the stuff that the video game gives you in other parts of your life. Like, people talk about, like, this person is like, I want to quit gaming and I want to stay away from gaming. You don't have to quit gaming. You just need to build a life that pulls you away from the game. That's the solution that I believe in. That's what Healthy Gamer is all about. It's not like conquering video game addiction. It's like becoming a healthy gamer. You know, like, start to have a job that challenges you intellectually. Start to, like, have people that you want to see. Like, get into shape so that you're not embarrassed about, like, leaving your room. The only place that you get confidence is because you're, like, a top tier, like, raid leader in WoW, or you're, like, divine bracket, or, like, diamond in LoL, or whatever. That's where you get your confidence from. That's the problem. You can't just take that away. You're just going to be left with a bunch of no confidence. Like, you've taken the one thing that supports your ego and gives you community. You've just taken it away. What I want you to do is be free from games. Be free from them. Don't need them anymore. Build a life that's worth living. Like, if RL doesn't suck, you don't have to, like... Have you guys seen Outside RPG? This is great. So there's, like, this subreddit called, like, /r outside. It's beautiful. They treat the real world like it's an RPG. And like, what I want you guys to recognize is, like, you can build your life to be worth living. That's what you should focus on. And if you have friends, and if you feel engaged, and if you feel challenged, and if you feel confident in yourself, and if you have people who love you and respect you for who you are in the real world, you don't need a video game. You can still enjoy it. I still like playing video games. But to build a fulfilling life, that's the goal. And if you do that, then gaming, like, conquering gaming addiction is not a struggle. Like, that's what you guys really have to understand, is that what this person is saying is that thoughts on quitting gaming cold turkey and how to maintain it, right? That means that is a daily struggle that person is fighting. Using willpower day after day after day after day. And at one point, they're going to have a bad day and they're going to crack. That's the problem. The people who are truly sober from alcohol give it up. They don't have to struggle every day. They're like, you know what? My life is actually better without it. If I choose a life of sobriety, or I choose a life, like, I'm just tired of being hungover every day. That fucking sucks. When they say things like that, then they don't want to go to the alcohol. That's what I think you should do.